Wars have shaped the rise and fall of nations, but among the countless battles fought across history, one stands apart for its scale, brutality, and human cost: the Battle of Stalingrad. From August 1942 to February 1943, Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union clashed in a fight that turned a city on the Volga River into a graveyard. More than 2 million lives were lost, making it the deadliest battle ever fought. This is the story of Stalingrad, a battle that changed the course of World War II and revealed both the darkest depths of war and the resilience of the human spirit. By 1942, Hitler's armies had swept across Europe. France had fallen. Poland was gone. German troops had driven deep into Soviet territory, but Hitler wasn't satisfied. His eyes turned south, toward the oil fields of the Caucasus, vital fuel for his war machine. To reach them, he set his sights on Stalingrad, an industrial hub on the Volga River. For Hitler, capturing the city meant more than strategy. It carried symbolic value. A city bearing the name of Joseph Stalin himself would be a prize too tempting to resist. For the Soviets, losing Stalingrad wasn't an option. Stalin issued his infamous order, not a step back. The city had to be defended at all costs. In late August 1942, the German Luftwaffe launched a devastating air raid. Entire districts of Stalingrad were reduced to rubble. Tens of thousands of civilians were killed in the firestorm. But what Hitler saw as destruction, the Soviets saw as an advantage. The ruins turned Stalingrad into a fortress. Streets filled with debris became barricades. Collapsed buildings became strongholds. The city was transformed into a battlefield where every inch mattered. German forces entered the city expecting another swift victory. Instead, they were dragged into a nightmare of close-quarters combat. The fighting was so intense it earned a name: Rattenkrieg, the Rat War. Soldiers fought room to room, floor to floor, even in the sewers. Machine guns roared from basements. Snipers lurked in the shadows of shattered factories. Hand-to-hand combat was common. A single building might change hands several times in one day. The Germans were advancing, but at a terrible cost. Every block was a battlefield, every soldier a target. Conditions inside the city were beyond imagination. Temperatures plummeted as winter set in. Supplies ran dangerously low. For the civilians trapped inside, life was a daily struggle to survive. Families huddled in basements, often without food, water, or heat. Children scavenged for scraps among the rubble. Even German soldiers admitted the horror. One described it in his diary: "This is not war. This is the end of the world." Despite the misery, Soviet defenders held firm. Reinforcements crossed the Volga River at night under heavy artillery fire. Many never made it across, but those who did went straight into combat. Figures like Vasily Zaitsev, a Soviet sniper, became legends. Hidden in the ruins, Zaitsev reportedly killed more than 200 enemy soldiers, spreading fear among German ranks. His story symbolized the spirit of resistance in Stalingrad, a city that refused to die. By November 1942, the Germans had captured most of the city, but their flanks were stretched thin and held by weaker Allied troops: Romanians, Italians, and Hungarians, poorly equipped for the harsh winter. On November 19th, the Soviets launched Operation Uranus. It wasn't aimed at the city itself, but at the flanks. Soviet armor and infantry smashed through the lines, encircling the German 6th Army in Stalingrad. Nearly 300,000 Axis troops were trapped. The hunters had become the hunted. Hitler ordered the 6th Army to hold its ground. Supplies were supposed to be flown in by the Luftwaffe, but air deliveries fell far short. Soldiers received just a few hundred calories a day, a slice of bread, maybe a thin soup. Hunger became unbearable. Men boiled leather belts for food. Horses were slaughtered. Rats were eaten. Meanwhile, the Soviet winter showed no mercy. Temperatures dropped to 30 degrees below zero. Frostbite and disease killed thousands. Ammunition dwindled. The once proud German army was disintegrating from within. By January 1943, the Soviets launched their final offensive. German defenses collapsed. Entire divisions surrendered. On January 31st, Field Marshal Friedrich Paulus, personally promoted by Hitler to ensure he would never surrender, was captured alive. 2 days later, all organized resistance ended. Of the 300,000 German soldiers trapped in Stalingrad, only about 90,000 were taken prisoner. Fewer than 6,000 would ever return to Germany. The rest perished in Soviet captivity. The cost of the battle was staggering. More than 2 million people were killed, wounded, or captured. Stalingrad itself was reduced to rubble. But the Soviet victory marked a turning point. It shattered the myth of Nazi invincibility. From Stalingrad onward, the Red Army would push west, beginning the long, bloody road to Berlin. The Battle of Stalingrad remains the deadliest battle in history, a clash where strategy, endurance, and sheer willpower decided the fate of nations. It was a story of unimaginable suffering, but also of resilience. Stalingrad stands today not only as a reminder of war's brutality, but as proof that even in the darkest times, human determination can alter the course of history. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.